Hello, ladies and gents! It has been some time since we had a review of one of these little buggers on the channel, and since I'm trying to clean out my older replays, I thought we could have a look at one of my personal favorites from these lower tier RNG machines. This week's subject is the Tier 4 French artillery, the excitingly named AMX 105 AM MLE 47. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? The French artillery line in general is a rather bumpy road, with a mix of rather good and rather annoying machines, but the Tier 4 stop is definitely a nice one. If you underestimate this little beast, you will soon regret it, as the Tier 6 heavy tanks found out the hard way in today's GORE's medal and ace tanker gameplay at the end of the review. If you want to jump straight ahead to the carnage, your usual timestamp awaits in the description below. Otherwise, let's get started, especially as the historical look will be unfortunately once again a rather short one. This thing was a post-World War II French artillery design dating back to 1947, but the project never really took off and eventually was cancelled. End of story. Historical lesson? Check! Let's get started then with the really interesting bits. Give me some numbers. Starting with that 105mm howitzer, we already arrived at the main strength of this machine. It's not that it would be truly exceptional in any regard, though it definitely has some strong points. It's much more the case that it's a really nicely rounded gun that quite simply just works. The meaty 445 average damage and the very comfortable 60mm of average penetration mean that, unlike some of the lower tier SPGs, I'm looking right now at you, Birch Gun, when we do hit something, it will mostly penetrate as well. And that means a good amount of sweet and juicy damage. The rate of fire is quite solid as well, with about 4 rounds a minute, meaning an around 15-second reload. Now all of this gives us one of the best DPMs among the Tier 4 RT pieces, and the best thing is that, due to the good penetration, we can actually make this happen rather reliably as well. The shell velocity is one of the best as well, giving the enemy less chance to move, and also making leading your shots against moving targets a hell of a lot easier. Gun handling in general is really fine too. The accuracy is actually one of the best with only 0.71 meters dispersion, and the aim time is a solid 5.3 seconds as well, even if it's not really exceptional at this tier. The gun elevation is a rather standard 45 degrees, meaning that you won't be lobbing shells over cover in this machine much. Your gun arc, on the other hand, is an excellent one with a super comfortable 60 degrees, minimizing the need to completely re-aim after moving your tracks. I also have to mention that the gun traverse is a bit more sluggish than with the other SPGs, but it never felt to be anything of a concern really. Moving on to armor, this will be a really quick section. As expected, you don't have any. Even if on paper you have the best protection from this selection, this only means 30mm on your lower plate and a maximum of 20mm all around. That's exactly worth as much as you would imagine, so let's move on swiftly. Next up is the mobility, and this section is a positive one as you would kinda expect it from most things French. We have one of the best top speeds at 60 km per hour, and also the best power to weight ratio at 16 horsepower per ton. While this is not light tank levels of acceleration, this will come really handy when we have to get out of harm's way, and also it will allow us to relocate to more advantageous positions as the battle advances. Finally, hull traverse is quite alright as well, at least for an artillery with 26 degrees, but don't expect to outmaneuver approaching light tanks just yet. And finally, camo is actually one of the best once again, which is great news. View range on the other hand with 290 meters is rather average, and signal range is alright too. Equipment-wise, since vents are not available on this machine due to this being an open-topped vehicle, I suggest to use a gun rammer, gun laying drive and a camo net combination. Crew skill-wise, the setup is the super bog-standard one for artillery, brothers in arms followed by 6-hands and camo on everyone. So just to summarize, the AMX 105 AM MLE 47 is a small and sneaky artillery with a punchy and surprisingly accurate gun. Sounds promising? Let's see how it does in action. Alright, so here we are in our Tier 4 French artillery, duking it out on an encounter matching good old Ruinberg. Now, we gotten ourselves into a Tier 6 match, but that's really not a concern of mine. Really, unlike I have to play some of the, crappier versions of these bad boys, shooting at higher tiered opponents only means that you get more experience and, well, they have more health that we can take away. The top of the turret and the engine decks are usually the same shitty armored ones that you can easily penetrate, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. Now, let's see who the first victim will be. Oh, top tier medium tanks sideways onto the enemy front with 3 artillery? Yes, please. Seriously, people, do you want to get one-shotted? Because that's how you get one-shotted. Now, there is actually quite a few tanks that I would love to shoot on the enemy team, like the Nashorn or the Flak Bus. That would be a lot of fun. Now, that's a very dodgy shot, which is also not really well aimed, so that's more actually down to me rather than the inaccuracy of the gun. As mentioned, this is a rather accurate one, so if I will take care of my shots, I should be fine in most cases. Oh, and that's a nasty hit. I don't think he expected to get hit by artillery there, but there are actually surprisingly a lot of gaps, so you have to know in which gaps you are artillery safe and in which gaps you are not. Let's see if we can do it again with the Churchill. Yes, we can. Only 184 damage though, so that's not exactly wonderful. Shouldn't be really complaining though, we are already well over 1000 damage done. It's not even 2 minutes all into the game. The heavy tanks are playing quite aggressively up on the mid-ridge, so let's see if we can benefit from that. There is the Nashorn. That's not a position we can shoot at him. If he would be kind enough to just make a move, would be rather nice. Okay, slowly moving heavy tank. Pretty much sideways on, no problem. Oh, that was a bit of a shame. That's a bit of a long shot. But the aim was about alright. Okay. Another tier 6 heavy tank. Absolutely spotted and in the open. And he is a lucky guy that I hit probably his turret front. His most heavily armored part, so the armor did negate most of the splash damage. Wow, what is the ARL doing? And he is a very lucky one as well. Well, that's SPG accuracy for you. And this is one of the more accurate ones. So, yeah, you can imagine. Still, look at that, another medium, completely focused on the enemy, sideways on. Have to really hope that we don't hit the walls there, because that would completely negate my HE shell. We do manage to get a hit him. Will we be able to find him with another shot? Nope, that went completely the other way and into the side of the house, and whoa, that's what I'm talking about. But as they get spotted, most probably I won't be reloaded in time. Oh, will I? Come on! Not quite. Alright, we still want to do some more damage, and that ARL looks like a very juicy target. Again, completely in the open. And, well, the enemy team really didn't last long. That shell completely whiffed as well. So it now is the case of securing the last bits of damage before they completely melt away. Have to be careful though, so that enemy light tanks do not rush in as we take the shot, because we really don't want to hurt our own team. And again, sideways onto the enemy artillery. That's how you get one-shotted, mate. And there is the enemy team gone. And look at that, we did actually manage to get about 2000 damage, not too shabby. What an absolute mayhem! We managed to take on those tier 6 machines with great effect, earning ourselves another ace tanker with a high caliber and the always welcome GORE's medal. Just look at all this damage. Almost 2000 damage done, stomping the enemy team to the ground. And while we could only secure 1 kill among all this carnage, this was still a solid 825 base experience game. Overall we fired 13 shots, 6 of which hit, but at least all of those penetrated as well. SPG accuracy for you in a nutshell right there. Alright then, this was my quick look at the surprisingly capable little Tier 4 French artillery, the AMX 105AM MLE 47. I hope you did find this little review useful, and if you did, thank you very much for considering giving this a like or sharing it. Have a great weekend, people, don't forget to relax, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of the next videos.